Hello and welcome to a new episode of the CTO Show with Mehmet. My name is Mehmet, and in each episode, I'll exploring latest trends, insights, strategies from different topics like cybersecurity, digital transformation, emerging tech, and also startups and entrepreneurship. And as you know, sometimes I have as guests thought leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs who would like to hear from them more about their areas of expertise to tell us about all the innovations and all the latest news of tech and business. And today I am pleased to have with me Mohammad Arshad, who is an expert in data science and artificial intelligence. Thank you so much, Mohammed, for joining me today. If you can just introduce yourself to us and what you do.
Thank you, Mehmet, for the wonderful introduction. I'm Mohammad Arshad. I have been a data scientist for 17 years of my life. In corporate, I was working for companies like Dell, Hewlett Packard, Accenture, Majid Al Futtaim in Dubai, and recently I started my own startup, Decoding Data Science, that is into consulting and academy. And I had a passion of you can say giving mentorship and creating teams, data teams, because there is a lot of gap in the requirement for companies and the education system. So this from that particular need, this startup emerged, wherein I do a lot of, you can say, awareness sessions. What are the main foundation skills that are required, and all these things for people to learn AI and not get scared of it.
That's great. So, the first question I want to ask you, Mohammed, because that will lead us to more questions. But let's start from the basics, right? So we hear a lot of these words, but sometimes people mix them up. So we hear about data as data, then data science, data analytics, and then AI. So can you little bit distract this to us, like how it all starts, and then what are the layers that come on top of it?
Yes, yeah. So to be honest, Mehmet, so there is a this particular definition about artificial intelligence, data science, machine learning becomes very complicated, and there is a lot of, you can say, confusion out there in the market. So to be honest, how I talk to the business, specifically to the business or any people who are new to this and who want to know, is whatever buzzwords that are there, just the root word of everything is data. So how we can focus on the data and generate insights from the data, that is the concept of AI. Now it depends upon lot of conditions, the business outcomes that you want, and what is the data that is available. After that only we can understand which part of the AI ecosystem will be used in your uh, to help solve your business problem or to be used in your specific case. So we can just think it as a toolkit, right? There are a lot of toolkits available in the AI ecosystem, and you as a business user do not need to know so much details. You just need a consultant or an expert's help to decode your problem and suggest you which is the best tools kit for you to use, because most of the cases, most of the businesses, they don't need to use AI, to be honest, right? They can do with simple plain reporting. But now we don't want to explain this, and we don't want to create that confusion to them. We keep everything in the AI ecosystem, even the reporting part. Now, if I can talk in more details about this, so there is a roadmap for any company to start with AI, and the first is making sure that the data is getting collected properly. The pipelines are fixed, and there is a way where people or the company is collecting data. That is the first step. Second step is, on that data, basic reporting you need to start doing, and creating insights from the reports, the data analysis part from the reports. After all this is fixed, so because most of the business questions that are there can be answered by just doing data analysis on historical data of the company that is there. After that, if it is required according to the business question, we can use, you can say, any machine learning or AI, whatever toolkit that is there. So you don't need to, business don't need to uh, too much focus and get confused by this, because the more the details we talk, right, as a data expert, the more people get afraid and they get away from this, which is not the case here.
Thank you very much for this explanation, Mohammed. Now, um, you talked about business outcomes, and I love this approach, right? So, because at the end of the day, and I loved also the way you mentioned solving business cases. Now, what are the major problems you think, you know, data science and data analysis, AI, are today focusing to solve for organizations?
Yeah, so the right now, to be honest, the main challenges is, I was telling you, the first part, making sure that the data is getting collected in a proper way, and uh, what all systems are there in place for data to get generated and you can say saved, because this is very important for any company to try to capture whatever data it is possible. Because see, if the data culture and the data collection system is not in place, people are still using just standalone excels and doing analysis standalone, and there is no unique data mart in the company wherein everything is getting stored at a daily level. Then there is a big problem. You cannot do any analysis, you cannot do any reporting on that. So this is a major challenge for many companies. Even if there are systems in place, they have systems in place, but they are not storing the data. Even if they are storing the data, it is not at one particular space and at a one particular level. Like suppose customer data, if we want to have all the customer data, all the attributes of a customer at one place, it is very tough to get. There will be, marketing team will have some data a separate place, finance team will have some data a separate place, HR will have data separate place, transaction data will be separate, employee demographic data will be separate. So those different things, we need to get it at one place and build a customer view, store level view, product level view. And that is the thing is people are not able to, that is one of the main challenges that I feel currently, is to have, there is a lot of data, but there is a lot of noise. How to get the clean and the meaningful data and store it in a data mart so that you can get value out of it, which is one of the main challenges and one of the main pain points that uh, companies and businesses are facing.
Yeah, that's very insightful. Now, this bring to me, this question, because you talked about how this confusion can happen. So, what do you think, like, are the most successful implementations of this AI solution? Like, how can you give us some examples of, without even mentioning like maybe customer names, but at least, you know, how the outcomes were after implementing the right AI framework at a company?
So you are asking for my examples or the examples that I see in industry?
You've seen in the industry, yeah.
So the best thing, the best case, and the many one of us will relate with it, is the recommendation engine, that is the recommendation algorithms that are there, right? So those algorithms, they use lot of data, right? Like suppose I give an example of Amazon,
Yeah.
the products that you are buying. So the products that you buy, the recommendation algorithm does not only work on product to product match, like it also works on the type of customer persona that you have, right? Because you, if suppose there is one general product, if you buy, suppose you buy a printer, you will also buy cartridge,
Yeah.
and that is a recommendation that they will give. But this algorithm goes much further, right? It will see the type of customer persona, his buying pattern, which brand he likes, what is the most probable products that he will buy along with these products. It can be historical baskets of the same personas that are there. So those are the very useful use cases that the companies are using, and specifically the e-commerce companies, to give recommendation engines. This is one of the best use cases of AI and ML in action. And this really causes lot of upsales, right? Upsales, cross sales. And companies are really improving this model every day if they are getting insights from the customer, whether he is buying the recommended products or not buying the recommended products. And that is the feedback loop goes into the algorithm, and it becomes better and better.
Very, very insightful, I would say. Now, you mentioned something about, and I see that you highlighted a lot about, collecting the data, right? So you said like this is the number one thing that any company would do. Now, mentioning this, what do you think are, the things that companies should care about when collecting the data? I mean, whether from privacy perspective, whether it's like from the data, I would say health itself, how clean it is. So, what are the major, I would say, points that really they should look at when they start collecting the data?
So, see, for collecting data specifically, there are some specific laws of a particular country, right? Like for UAE, the if you are collecting data of UAE customers, local, or the people who are in UAE, the data should reside in UAE itself. So this is a rule that is there. And so one thing is, you need to know the rule of the land. The data rules there are already in place. And second thing is, regarding in UAE, there is specifically there is no you can say rule that we cannot use gender and race in models, right? But in some countries in US and GDPR on Europe, there are some rules that you cannot use those type of variables in the model, because it becomes diverse. It is against the diversity logic. But here there is not no such rule for that in the model. But there is rule regarding the sharing of personal information that is there. So the rights of the data, when they are giving it to do analysis, it should be there should be a masking logic, that or the names and email IDs and contact numbers, when you are sharing with, there should be not, it should be randomized, and there should be a separate dictionary of all the personal informations. And the team, only very specific teams should have access to the personal information only for targeting purposes and all those things. But the other team members who are doing the analysis, and the other departments or the technology department, should not have access to the real personal information, and it can only be linked towards a random ID. So these are some of the basic uh, principles for protecting the personal information. And but the usage of models, the information on models for gender, is there is nothing like there is no rule specifically in this region.
Okay, I see. So it's mainly they need to care about, protecting the data, having the right access to it, to the people who
Yes.
should have, and of course follow the regulation of whatever land this algorithm will work. Now, you mentioned something which triggered something in my mind, and it's, I like it actually because you said AI systems, they are not for everyone, right? So,
Hmm.
what are really the companies that they should focus on having AI? Like, which verticals do you see this is more relevant in?
So the areas, like, see, first is the retail, wherein you have lot of product information, a lot of customer information. That is one place wherein you can do lot of data analysis. Second is marketing.
Mhm.
So all the digital marketing that happens, performance marketing that happens, they have lot of data, and you can do lot of, you can say, ROI calculations, return of investments, the customer lifetime value, the effectiveness of your media spends. There are some models specifically in the marketing space. From the historical data, you can make models like, if you spend $1 on marketing, how much will be the, on which channel you will spend, how much will be the increase in sales. So there are, this is the marketing mix models that are there. This really helps for marketers to know which is the most effective channel to put the money dollars in that particular channel. So marketing, it is being used. Healthcare, it is very much used, because there is a lot of to be honest, healthcare is the oldest, the pharmacy, life sciences and healthcare is one of the oldest verticals that have been using artificial intelligence,
Hmm.
much before it was the hype has happened. They have been using for a long time, because all the drugs that we use, they have been tested, and statistically only they have been you can say they have passed the test significance level test for it to be rolled out to the masses. So it is there, those are the fields. To be honest, everywhere where there is data, there is there generated, you start using, as I told you, AI is just not machine learning. AI can be also be simple data analysis, right? Because that is the level you start at. Once you are doing data analysis, once you are doing all those things, you have a good history of data, a 1 year of data, then you can go ahead with doing, you can say, uh, predictive analytics. But to be honest, whenever I don't say when I say AI is not for everyone, it is the modeling part. The modeling part is not for everyone. The AI is, as I told you earlier on, solving the problem with data. It can be a simple data analysis also. It may not be, according to some, it may not be defined as AI, but you are using data, historical data, to do some analysis and tell to the management or the business that this, from the data, this is the story and this can happen, right? So this is the way. I don't really confuse when I say AI is not used for many of the people. It is the modeling part, the advanced machine learning part. But data analysis, anyone who has even 30 days of data, they can also do some data analysis and they can derive some value out of it.
Yeah, I think this has cleared the things more. Thank you for this clarification. And yeah, like I agree with you. Like even whenever you have some historical data, this is kind of analysis you can conduct. And I think this is the one of the oldest. And you mentioned the example of these algorithms that do suggestions for you, similar to what you see at Amazon, or like even social media they use it, so when they suggest for you some people to connect with and so on. So yeah, thank you for this clarification. Now, moving forward, what are the major trends that you are seeing in this field now? We are seeing like generative AI, a lot of hype about ChatGPT and all this stuff. So I know that everyone is talking about it, but other than ChatGPT and the generative AI, what are like the other things that now are trending, I would say, in this field?
So the thing is, Mehmet, so one thing is that is really going to happen and it is already started is the way we search, the way we have been searching. So since internet has come in 90s, right? We had used Yahoo, index based search, and now Google also built upon it. They also, were searching for a keyword and we were getting 10 or 15, or we are getting a lot of pages and it was getting sorted according to the ranking, and then we have to search which are the values that we are getting. That has been a search for almost 20, 25, 25 years, right? This is the way we have been searching internet. Now the way we are going to search is going to change. We are going to ask tools like chat gpt. Already Bing has started the Bing AI, wherein you type in what you want, because most of the searches are like, when you're searching, other than you are trying to ask a question to Google, and Google is going to give you the pages. But now what is these tools doing? It is going to give you one answer. It is like going to be more of a conversational AI, wherein it is going to, your prompt that you are going to give, it is going to search for the values that are most similar to your prompts, and going to give you a one output. And this is going to be, you may like it, you may not like it, but this is the way, because most of the searches are not too technical, right? If you see, most of the searches that 90% of the searches are just for information. And if for that, these type of tools really work well, and this is going to change the way we interact. It is going to change, like this is the prompts that are there, like even arts. You give prompts and art is getting generated, you give prompts, a video is getting generated. So now the content that is going to come in the market is going to be very much, you can say, generated by AI. And it is, maybe it is a concern as well, and it is also, you can say, it is going to change the way, it's just going to be a change in the way these things, we are going to interact with the internet. And it is, this is going to grow more and more. And to be honest, more than the positives, there are a lot of negatives as well. There are a lot of negatives. These things are going to mm, increase the garbage that is there already on the internet, because AI is learning from garbage that is already there. When you train your model on garbage, you will get garbage, and again the same garbage is again going back. So you're getting, the cycle is completely, now what is happening, all the content that is in internet is just getting repurposed, and the quality is going down. So those are the things that are happening. Ethics is a big problem. Ethics, discrimination, biasness, all those things you will get more and more. And there are a lot of challenges, and awareness is very important nowadays upon people like us, on the usage and how you need to control these things, and how you need to be a better contributor, which I can talk more about later.
Yeah, that's informative. And just to add one thing, and I always repeat this on my podcast, that guys, what you are seeing is based on data which was generated at at some stage by us, and
Yes.
you know what the algorithm is doing is just bringing back this. So like, thank you, Mohammed, for like focusing on this. It's not inventing the wheel. Yes, it looks to you that it's a text written by someone. It might look unique, but it didn't learn by itself, right? So it was all content which was available to the model, and this is why it looks so real, I believe, right? So but and you mentioned about, like, this the future. I'm really interested to know, or like at least to know your point of view about the future that you just mentioned. Like, how are you seeing things moving forward with that?
So right now, see, I was just talking today morning that calculators, when it was invented, there was lot of protest and lot of hype, and lot of people who are against calculator usage initially, for people who want to learn. And the similar thing is now happening with chat GPT. Like many, you can say, professors and many teachers are protesting the use of this, uh, because what is this going to do? It is going to hamper the learning, because these tools are making us more and more lazy. As we can see, Mehmet, the future, the technology is there to help us, but what it is actually doing is it is making people lazy, right? Everything at your fingertips. It is, humans are not designed to be so lazy, but these tools are making us lazy. And so what is happening, only the learning capability of the masses is going to reduce automatically. So they are the consumers. 95% of the people are just consumers, and they are just not giving any value. They are just using, they are just the people, the rest 5% of the people who are actually learning from this and understanding this. And actually the numbers are now reducing more and more because of this, the usage of this and the debate about this. The creativity is going down, and it is, the thing is, you see, machines are getting more and more powerful now. Because of this, there are there is going to be a lot of job losses. People are not talking about it so much, but a job that was being done by two people now can be done by one person, if he is using these AI tools. So the jobs are going to reduce. Many of the you can say manual jobs that are there, they can get automated. So there is going to be a huge shift. And one more thing is there now. Now companies have to understand how they can use. They cannot blindly use these tools. They need some knowledge. They need some. They need to draw a line. And it is, to be honest, it is a very debatable topic. There is a news, yesterday's news, that a lot of thought leaders have written to OpenAI, even including Elon Musk, to do a pause on the development of GPT 4.5 or 5. After the release of 4, they want a pause, because they want a lot of you can say SOPs to be put in place about the ethics, about the standards right now, which is not there, to make it more and more clean, because there is a lot of garbage that is there in OpenAI as well. And they need to do a lot of procedures according to the situation and make sure that they are not giving harmful information. Because, to be honest, even kids are using chat gpt, right? So
Yeah.
the text that it comes out has to be controlled in a way, because it is going to, as we know, young minds, if they are given such information, it is not good for them as well. So these are the things that they have asked them to do a pause. And there is a lot of debate online as well about the how to be ready with for this particular wave, because it is going to change a lot of things.
Yeah. Um, like for the first time, maybe on the podcast, I will say something before I close.
Hmm.
While I understand, the concerns, right? I've seen the news also this morning where people like Elon Musk and Steve Wozniak, the Apple co-founder, they signed this petition
Hmm.
to OpenAI, the company behind the ChatGPT. My, I would say my opinion here is I can understand the frustration. I can understand how people are afraid about all this. Um, but I think like I'm not able to understand the need for pause, right? Because I always try to link to previous historical moment, right? So when the internet came up, you know, all the regulations came after the internet became more widespread, right? So because people wanted to understand what this internet is and then try to put the legal stuff. Again, I'm not saying that I agree that OpenAI is the best thing or ChatGPT. Of course not, and I agreed with you about it has garbage. I agree with that, but the reality is, and I have seen some articles about this. Any company today, not OpenAI, people think that OpenAI is the only player, but it's not. Anyone today can collect the data, and this is part of what a data scientists they do. I think Mohammed, you'll agree with me. So
Hmm.
there's something, a process called data mining, right? So you have to
Yes.
mine the data, you have to bring the data, and it's a small world now. Like anyone, and I mean by anyone, yes, anyone. If they have the tools, they can get the data, and they can. I'm expecting, maybe they are not getting the attention, but I'm expecting to see another, Chat GPT with the same, I mean, efficiency and all this in very near future. So if OpenAI will not do it, someone else gonna do it. So this is my opinion. The other thing, yes, a lot of use cases can be, you know there is a question mark about it.
Hmm.
um, but what I have seen, from both, let's say, Microsoft and Google, with the integration that they are planning to do with the day-to-day tools like Microsoft Office or on the Google Workspace on Google side, I think, any topic that can touch the business from the following, or humans, if it can reduce the time to do it, if it can reduce the cost to do it, if it can make them more productive, I can understand the fears, but like why the same hype didn't come when the phone was there? Because the phone also, if you think about the smartphone, I mean, the smartphone moment, it also made people, kind of, like they get attracted to it. Same for the social media. I mean, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is, TikTok, right? Um, I see what you are trying to say, and I agree with you, by the way. Like, I'm not fully disagreeing, but just to put my 2 cents, uh,
Mhm.
I understand the concern, but I would say it's too late to stop it. And if not OpenAI, if OpenAI stopped today releasing GPT-5 or whatever, believe me, someone else gonna release that or something even better. I think it's too late to stop the train. It left the station. I say it left the station. But of course, the effort should be about how to force these companies like OpenAI to clean the data, to remove the garbage, as you called it. I 100% agree that it's there. Before we close, any final thoughts from your side, Mohammed? Because we'll come to an end.
No, no, yeah. So this, to be honest, I can talk hours and hours about this topic, and we can surely. I will just summarize. So yeah, there are a lot of challenges. We can, it was just as a takeaway, as a summary. Try to be open about this change. So you need to,
Prepare.
even to uh, even to learn about the, see, it's like a knife, right? It's a, you can use it for wrong things also. You can use it for cooking, cooking as well. So you, but you need to learn about knife. So that is, you need to learn the good things, the bad things, so how to use it, when to use it. So think it like a tool, and that is the thing that I tell everyone. There is going to be debate, there is going to be some misunderstanding, but at the end of the day, it is just a tool to help humans. So that is my final thoughts about this, and it was very nice talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you
And
very much for your time today. And again, I have to agree with the last sentence, guys. Train yourself, understand what is this tool about. It's not what you see on TikTok or on Instagram, whatever, because I start to see weird things there. So there's a science behind it. Understand the science, and believe me, the moment you understand the science, you will see the benefit of it. Thank you very much, Mohammed, for joining me today. As usual, I'm saying this to my audience. If you have any questions, if you have any feedback about this episode or about the show, if you want to be on the show, same as Mohammed, he was my guest today, please feel free to contact me, whether by email, LinkedIn, or Twitter. I will be more than happy to talk to you. And don't forget to subscribe if you are watching this on the YouTube channel or if you are listening to this on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you very much. And until we meet in another episode.